There is an invisible and unwavering flow that traverses the entire universe, and this flow is the pure manifestation of divine abundance. When you observe nature around you, you realize that scarcity was never part of creation's original design. Trees do not hoard their leaves, oceans do not measure their waters, and stars do not diminish their brilliance. However, Dr. Joseph Murphy dedicated more than 4 decades to teaching a profound and liberating truth. Most people live in financial and emotional misery because they are trying to open the doors of prosperity using the wrong key of physical struggle. The law of opulence is not a secret kept for a chosen few, nor a privilege granted by fate. It is a secret door that dwells right at the center of your own subconscious mind. When the noise of anxiety takes over your thoughts, you lock that door from the inside. You spend your days running against time, wearing down your health, and feeding the fear of tomorrow, without realizing that true wealth is not created through the sweat of despair, but rather attracted through the correct alignment of your deep mind with infinite intelligence. Understand this fundamental mechanism that governs your reality. Your conscious mind functions like the captain of a ship on the ocean of life. If the captain refuses to accept the bounty of the sea, if he lives terrified by the idea that fuel will run out and that the vessel will sink in, the entire crew in the depths of the vessel will obey that command of dread. Your subconscious mind is precisely that invisible hold. It does not question the captain's order. It does not analyze whether your belief in scarcity is fair or unfair. It simply takes the feeling of lack that you carry throughout the day and transforms it into overdue bills, missed opportunities, and continuous financial blockages. To open the secret door to success, you must learn to alter the command you send to the depths of your being. Wealth is, above all, a state of consciousness. The moment you replace the frequency of scarcity with the feeling of opulence, the subconscious assumes this new order as a supreme law. It begins to move people, create unexpected circumstances, and throw open doors that previously seemed completely locked to you. Thomas Pendleton was 44 years old when he reached the darkest point of his existence in Boston in the year 1957. He was a small fabric merchant who saw his business sinking day after day under the crushing weight of accumulated debts. His hands trembled as he touched the cold mahogany surface of his desk every night while looking at eviction notices for his shop. His routine was an endless cycle of despair. He woke up with a tight chest and spent sleepless nights mentally recounting every cent he owed, calculating his own bankruptcy, and foreseeing the shame he would bring upon his family. Thomas was waging a bloody war against matter, trying to fix external scarcity by feeding even more internal scarcity. That was when a friend handed him a pamphlet containing Dr. Joseph Murphy's Lectures on the Law of Opulence. Thomas read a sentence that resonated in his soul like thunder. The deep mind accepts as true that which you feel with conviction during the recollection of the spirit. He realized he had spent the last few years engraving the image of misery into the depths of his subconscious. Determined to change his destiny, Thomas ceased his violent fight against circumstances and adopted a new mental discipline. Every night before going to sleep, he would sit in his armchair, close his eyes, and apply the technique we teach on the channel, the Decree of Opulent Alignment. He did not ask for money to pay specific bills. He did not beg for a loan or cry over the lack of customers. Thomas simply shut off the noise of the physical world and silently affirmed the presence of divine abundance in his life. He felt the texture of success, visualized his shop filled with light, and repeated a single word like a mantra of liberation. Opulence. Opulence. In less than 6 weeks of uninterrupted practice, an international fabric buyer passing through Boston found Thomas's shop through a completely unusual path. He not only bought the entire stagnant inventory for an above-market price, but also offered Thomas an exclusive distribution contract that transformed his small business into $1 million company in less than 2 years. Thomas Pendleton did not change his reality through brute force. He opened the secret door to wealth when he decided to align his deep mind with the inexhaustible source of infinite intelligence. Say this out loud, or repeat it silently in your heart. Infinite intelligence now opens the doors to my divine wealth. The mechanics governing opulence are exact and relentless. You will never attract prosperity as long as you continue viewing money as something scarce, difficult, or separate from your spiritual essence. Many were taught to believe that money is a corrupting force, or that living with the bare minimum is the only way to maintain purity of spirit. This is one of the greatest lies inoculated into the human mind. Poverty is a manifestation of disharmony, a true disease of consciousness that blocks the full expression of life. Money is nothing more than a symbol of divine energy in circulation throughout society. It represents the freedom to choose, the capacity to serve others with excellence, and the opportunity to live with comfort and dignity. When you condemn wealth, or when you feel envy toward those who prosper, you send a clear signal to your subconscious that abundance is dangerous and undesirable. As a result, your deep mind will build invisible barriers to keep money far away from you. True wealth begins when you start blessing prosperity wherever you see it. When you celebrate the success of others and recognize that the source of all bounty is unlimited, you adjust the frequency of your spirit to the law of opulence. If this teaching is illuminating your consciousness and awakening your inner power, subscribe right now to the Subconscious Code channel and turn on notifications. Join our community of awakened minds and receive daily the keys to reprogram your subconscious. Sacred scripture brings this hidden law brilliantly encoded when it teaches, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. Notice the profound detail of this spiritual instruction. The mechanics do not tell you to believe you will receive in the future. The law demands that you feel and live the reality of the blessing as something already accomplished in the dimension of the invisible. The future is merely a projection of what you cultivate in your present interior. If you expect wealth to arrive tomorrow, your subconscious will keep prosperity always in tomorrow, eternally distant from your daily experience. The law of opulence demands that you claim now, in the secret of your mind, the feeling of one who is already prosperous, supplied, and blessed by infinite intelligence. By claiming your birthright to abundance with serenity and conviction, your deep mind receives this state of spirit as an absolute commandment. It begins reorganizing facts in the visible world so that your outer reality reflects, with surgical precision, the opulence you established within your soul. Say this out loud, or repeat it silently in your heart. The flow of divine wealth circulates freely and abundantly in my life. The hidden mechanism that governs your destiny does not rest for a single second, and it responds strictly to the frequency of what you accept as absolute truth. When Dr. Joseph Murphy dedicated his life to the study of the human mind, he discovered that the universe is not governed by chance or luck, but by spiritual laws as exact and unalterable as the law of gravity itself. Among all these laws, there is a supreme principle that sustains the very structure of our existence: the law of correspondence between what dwells in the invisible of the mind and what materializes in the visible of the world. Most people spend years making the same tragic mistake. They try to change the harvest without ever changing the seed. They spend entire days complaining about financial scarcity, feeding feelings of rejection, and dwelling on past injustices, and then close their eyes at night expecting tomorrow to bring miracles. This is a spiritual impossibility. Your subconscious cannot deliver to you anything other than what you have impressed upon it with emotion and conviction. If your conscious mind spends the day immersed in the noise of material fears, it is precisely this static of pain that your subconscious will receive as a supreme command to design your next 24 hours. To understand how this mechanic operates in your routine, visualize your deep mind under the metaphor of a great movie projector. The physical world you see around you, your bank account, the reactions of your body, the attitudes of the people around you, is nothing more than the image projected on the great screen of your life. The problem is that most of humanity runs to the movie screen to try to tear, paint, or force the image to change. They fight with matter, wear down their health, and live in a constant state of exhaustion. However, the invisible projector, the film roll that determines every manifested scene, is located in the silent sanctuary of your subconscious mind. The moment you sit in the dark room of your being, slow down the waves of your consciousness and alter the internal tape through silence. The image on the external screen is forced to change instantly. Matter is passive. Matter has no creative power of its own. It is merely the moldable reflection of the mental seeds you have cultivated in the secret of your spirit. When you learn to withdraw attention from problems and fix your consciousness on the stillness of the divine presence, the projector of your mind stops reproducing the dramas of the past and begins projecting scenes of absolute prosperity and healing. Say this out loud, or repeat it silently in your heart. The projector of my mind reflects only God's abundance. Dispel right now one of the greatest illusions humanity has carried across centuries, the erroneous belief that poverty or suffering possesses any spiritual value. Many people were taught to believe that pain is a test of virtue, or that enduring financial deprivation brings the soul closer to the Creator. Dr. Joseph Murphy dismantled this lie with crystal clarity. Scarcity is not a spiritual virtue. Scarcity is a disease of the mind. The infinite intelligence that created the universe knows no lack. Look at nature around you. A single tree produces thousands of seeds. The stars in the sky are countless. The oceans overflow with life. The entire creation is a continuous celebration of bounty and constructive excess. Therefore, when you accept financial limitation or emotional weariness as something inevitable, you are disconnecting yourself from your own divine origin. Money is not an evil in itself. Money is a neutral energy, a symbol of opulence and the circulation of life on the planet. Desiring it with wisdom and using it with gratitude is your birthright. Suffering only remains in your life as long as you continue feeding the fire of pain with the fuel of your anxious attention. When you stop fighting against lack and retreat into the silence of the soul, pain disintegrates for lack of nourishment. To help his students reach this state of liberation quickly and definitively, Dr. Joseph Murphy taught an exercise we call here on the channel the alignment of supreme stillness. This method consists of completely withdrawing your mind from physical senses before any important decision is made or before anxiety takes over your chest. Instead of reacting immediately to bad news, an unexpected bill, or a symptom of discomfort in the body, you should close your eyes for 3 minutes and visualize that an infinite ocean of peace exists just beneath the agitated surface of your emotions. By practicing the alignment of supreme stillness, you interrupt the automatic response of your nervous system and prevent the belief in evil from taking root in your subconscious. You assume the posture of a conscious observer, knowing that infinite intelligence already possesses the perfect solution to any human impasse before it even manifests. It was precisely by applying this stillness that men and women, over decades, reversed declared bankruptcies, restored shattered homes, and achieved miracles that logical science could never explain. They understood that silence is not the absence of action, but the highest level of mental power a human being can exercise. Say this out loud, or repeat it silently in your heart. I surrender my mind to the unwavering flow of peace. If this understanding is bringing clarity to your mind and illuminating your spirit, be sure to subscribe to the Subconscious Code channel and turn on the notification bell. Do not let this truth die here. Become part of our community of awakened minds and receive daily the keys to reprogram your subconscious. Always remember that your subconscious is infinitely faithful to the orders it receives from your conscious mind in the hour of silence. When you lie down to rest and allow the turmoil of the world to quiet down, you enter the most sacred sanctuary of your existence. It is there that blind faith gives way to spiritual science. You do not need to beg for a better future. You do not need to cry for compassion, and you do not need to plead for help as if you were abandoned in the universe. All you need is to claim your inheritance of peace, with the serenity of one who knows that the cause of all things dwells within themselves. The stillness of your soul is the most powerful weapon in the universe. It disarms the traps of fear, dissolves the bonds of scarcity, and opens the doors of heaven so that prosperity, health, and infinite joy flow into your life in an uninterrupted and glorious way. Scientific prayer is not a desperate plea cast into the void, nor a painful supplication made to a distant God. It is the conscious and systematic attunement with the divine law that already dwells in the depths of your being. When you understand that the answer to your desire precedes the very formulation of your pain, the entire structure of your mind transforms. Dr. Joseph Murphy repeatedly insisted that to pray is to claim in the invisible that which you wish to see manifested in the visible. The subconscious mind does not respond to the intensity of your tears or the drama of your lamentations. It responds with mathematical precision to the quality of your inner belief and the firmness of your feeling in the hour of stillness. Close the eyes of your physical body for a moment and open the eyes of your spirit. Let the noise of worries, upcoming deadlines, temporary bank balances, and memories of pain dissolve completely right now. Take a deep breath and feel the healing and abundant presence flow through your consciousness. From this instant, we surrender our entire being to the infinite intelligence that dwells in the silent sanctuary of the soul. The divine presence that created my body, that sustains the visible and invisible worlds and governs the universe in perfect order, is the only source of all my supply, my peace, and my wealth. I know, with absolute conviction and crystal clarity, that my subconscious mind is God's fertile soil within me. Every seed of opulence, prosperity, health, harmony, serenity, and abundance that I now deposit in my deep mind germinates in perfect order and beauty in my material reality. I completely forgive my past and everyone involved in it. I now release all memories of scarcity, all accumulated bitterness, financial frustrations, and all old beliefs of limitation that once imprisoned my soul. Resentment dissolves completely in the ocean of divine love. My soul is clean, serene, in absolute stillness, and open to receive the uninterrupted flow of all blessings. Infinite intelligence opens pathways where before there were only locked doors. Money and opulence flow into my life constantly, freely, harmoniously, and abundantly, always serving as instruments of joy, expansion, well-being, and liberation. Perfect health dwells in every cell, every organ, every tissue, and every system of my physical body. Divine order governs sovereignly over my business, my home, my mind, and all my relationships. I do not fight against external circumstances, and I do not spend my energy combating matter. I sit in the stillness of my soul and contemplate my victory in advance. I give thanks from the bottom of my heart because I know that my request has already been answered in the dimension of the invisible and now manifests gloriously in my visible world. And so it is. Say this out loud or repeat it silently in your heart. Infinite intelligence now performs the miracle of my transformation. The constant reiteration of spiritual truth is the master key to the deep reprogramming of your existence. When you mentally repeat the reality of your inner power, you smooth out the grooves of fear and lack that were carved into your brain by years of negative conditioning. Scarcity only possesses the strength that your mental noise grants it. The moment you collect your conscious mind, refuse to accept the diagnoses of limitation, and nestle into the stillness of the spirit, all chains of financial anxiety break like straw in the wind. Inner calm is the place where the greatest riches are born. Understand your true nature. You are not a fragile victim of market circumstances, nor a boat adrift on the stormy ocean of material uncertainties. You are the direct heir of infinite intelligence, endowed with the supreme and inalienable power to shape your reality through the law of belief and inner opulence. All the abundance of the universe belongs to you by right of creation, waiting only for your mind to quiet down to accept and claim it. When night arrives and silence settles over your room, prepare to execute your most sacred moment of the day. Lie down comfortably, turn off the noise of the external environment, put away electronic devices, and close your eyes with serenity. Do not review debts. Do not bring worries about tomorrow's bills to bed, and do not feed doubts about your future. The day has ended, and the physical world will rest. Gently place your right hand over the center of your chest. Feel your heartbeat slow down, and feel your breathing become deep and rhythmic. Repeat just 2 words like a lullaby for your deep mind: opulence, success. Let your subconscious absorb the vibration of these words as you drift peacefully off to sleep, allowing God's wisdom to work on rebuilding your life and opening your sources of wealth during the hours of your rest. If this message touched your heart and brought the light of clarity to your soul, leave your like on this video and subscribe to the Subconscious Code channel. By subscribing, you unite your energy with our community of awakened minds, strengthening the great chain of enlightenment, peace, and prosperity. Also leave your affirmation of victory in the comments to seal this commitment with the universe. May the peace of God continue governing your mind and abundantly blessing every step of your journey.